Oh. Hello and welcome again back to Australia. A little bit of a nightmare we're having here, Jonathan.
We're having we'll just call them a few technical difficulties. But yeah, the last lobby didn't it didn't perform so well. Everybody's name disappeared and it didn't move.
It was like a 2015 Honda engine. It just died.
Apologies for that. We tried to keep the delay as short as possible and get everybody back on their starting positions.
Okay, so we've got
let's try this again.
We've got the formation lap going, and then we'll go straight into the race. Obviously, we put the gentlemen in the grid slots where they qualified in the previous lobby. And yeah, we'll hopefully get a clean race.
As far as I can see, the sky looks clear, I think. So we shouldn't have too many issues.
Yeah, hopefully, no, it was. It looked like a clear race.
The weather doesn't change.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Just going through that top 5 to give you a reminder in case you didn't see qualifying. Got Flexi in first place, PW in second. He actually got that second place right in the dying stages of qualifying. It was a pretty good lap, and he just took it away from Gavin. Robbie in fourth, Mismax in fifth, all within a second, and as well as Cameron in sixth. Actually, the top 6 all within a second. So good start for McLaren. 4.6. Actually, on paper, one of the favorites for the constructors at the beginning of the season when we did the draw was Red Bull, and they're starting in 5th and 10th. So this match is there on the pace. We'll see when it comes down to race pace.
Yeah, one of the drivers that disconnected as we started the session, a little piece. It doesn't look like he's making his way back, unfortunately.
That would be unfortunate if he can't take control of that car. Here we go, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
Goes.
Oh, there we go. It seems like we're gonna go. It's 5 red lights.
And off we go. Got the vet with a good start. Challenging on the inside of Sam. Sam a bit late on the brakes. Makes it through the first 2 corners, and he takes the lead. Got a little bit of a scuffle there towards the back, I can see.
Good position changes already.
Good start from Robbie.
Gavin, the big loser. Gavin's the big loser at the start. He lost 4 positions. He's down to 7. Captain Nice, fantastic start. He's up to 6th. He's the biggest winner in the start phase. Actually, the biggest winners would be Neon Rapid in 10th. He took 7 places. And Jack, 7 places as well.
Yeah, that's class.
Sitting, that's 8 places now, sitting in 11th. So really making his way through the field.
Definitely.
Maybe just burning some of the frustration from the delayed start.
Yeah, the guys had a little time to wait to get the lobby back going.
It's great to see everybody hung around, and unfortunate about Little Piece. Yeah, it seems like he didn't get going.
Yeah, unfortunately. Ooh, we got Jack going up on the inside. of the Renault there. Had a look, decided against it.
On the verge of getting into the points. Well, it seems like the Reynolds coming into the pits. And there you go, he's in the points. Up to 10. Nicely done. Great start. Nine positions so far.
I can see, but he's carrying a little bit of wing damage, which is unfortunate. Oh dear, we've got Captain Ice. Had an oversteer moment and he's on the grass. I don't know if he got a touch from somebody. Demotes him back down to 10th place. Things happening quite fast.
Disappointing after the start that he got. He was up into the top 6 and still losing positions. Down to 12th now, and 2 cars right on his tail. So you'll want to get stable and get back to the race place as soon as possible.
Definitely. Our resident Russian driver, Iggy, also with a mega start, jumping 8 positions into 10th place. Good to see the man back behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car.
Fantastic to see him back online.
Yeah.
Having a few issues on that side of the world with his connection. So glad to see him back.
And we've got Jack nabbing Staffy, mugging him for 8th position. Didn't quite catch
Up
the
into
move.
8th place. Nicely done.
And he's going back to 7th as Gavin goes.
Look, Gavin has made a pit stop.
No, he's out on track.
Gavin has made a pit stop, and that promotes Jack up into 7th. He's the biggest winner currently. He's taken 12 places.
And it's lap 3.
That's not bad. That's Senna Donington in the rain.
Yeah, very Senna-ish. Well, he's 4 seconds behind the Mullah now, but he's catching quickly, so we'll keep an eye on that. Going back towards the front, we've got Nismax also jumping 2 spots into 3rd, chasing DW quite hard now.
Right on the tail of that Force India now. Wants to get past, and you'll want to get past before that gap gets any bigger. But now the problem is, while 2nd and 3rd begin to battle, 1st place is in clean air, and just makes his job a little bit easier.
Definitely. Well, Flexi is clearing off into the distance at the moment, and almost 4.5 seconds clear already, and then showing pace.
Got to mention the McLarens running around in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, good on them. And it's actually Camden in front of Robbie, which is quite interesting to see.
Doing a good job on his return to TnB.
Yes,
But
and
it seems like Cam is on the ultra soft and Robbie is on the super soft. Might be the difference.
yeah, good start. Good start from Cameron.
Just running through some of the guys that have already made a pit stop.
Jack just put it now. Sorry to interrupt there, Jonathan. He just thought to himself, just to put a new front wing on there will help him.
And, we've got Gav coming out of the pits. Fossey is currently in the pits, and Judge is on his way into the pits. So but they're currently quite busy. There's a lot of damage out on track that we haven't picked up on. Unfortunately, we only have 1 camera at a time. It'd be great if we could get like 10 screens in here.
Definitely, I agree with you there, Jonathan.
Actually, at the moment, he's in 1st place and he's extending that gap. He extended it by half a second in the last lap. This next stall, they're in 3rd place, battling with the Vec, trying to get past. But we know from previous races, the Vet is quite the driver to get past.
Yeah, his defensive skills are magnificent.
You can maintain a quick line around that track
Sorry, just
without much error.
Robbie's in the pits. So he's coming out now on supers. I suppose he had suspected front wing damage.
Not the start McLaren Honda would have wanted. Not the start RZDV would have wanted. He's in 11th place. And time to recoup now.
Yes.
But I wonder if his connection had anything to do with wing damage. So if he gets that sorted out as quickly as possible, because he's one of the quicker drivers on the grid.
Cameron right at the back of Nismax here, having a look.
Absolutely, that fight for second becoming now a three-way battle. Seems to be quick on the ultras, but how much longer?
Yeah, that is the question. Well, the Red Bull also gaining now. They're getting into the DRS zone.
If you look at that entire top 10, Cam is the only man on ultra soft. So obviously very quick at this stage of the race, but we don't know what's going to happen when those tyres drop off. Actually, make a note of the Renault driver. We've got Iggy in fifth. Started towards the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Having a fantastic drive, and he's actually the holder of the fastest lap at the moment with a 1:27.8.
Jumped 13 positions.
So he's jumped 13 positions, but he's still making the lap time. So I think he's going to join that group.
Definitely. He's going
Well, a
back
fair way away for the time being, 8.5 seconds, but good pace.
Captain Ice
And
also
clean
doing
air.
a good job in P7. He's on softs, so he'll be able to go a little bit further. As I see Cameron with that McLaren stuck into the wall in the main straight. What happened,
That
lad?
seems to be a disappointing end for Cam. He was looking quick. He was in a promising position, and unfortunately we missed that. We're not quite sure what happened. We'll only get some information on that maybe after the race from the driver. But yeah, just he's there on the pit straight, and it looks pretty
That's a
pretty
common
strange, really.
oversteer moment out of the last corner that flung him into the inside pit wall.
Maybe
And,
just no traction and bounced off one wall into the other, because you can see the wing is on the opposite side of the track, so presuming that is his wing and there's not someone limping around this racetrack.
Yes, indeed. No, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, he is quick. Just that little bit of consistency still lacking, it seems. Unfortunately. We've got Jack having a look on the outside of the Toro Rosso, making a clean sweep on the outside. That's quite impressive.
Iggy up to fourth now, promoted up to fourth with that retirement of Cam. So just one position away from what would be a surprising podium finish.
Yes.
It's quite a fair amount of positions made up. 14.
Yeah, that is impressive.
14.
I was fortunate enough to have him as a Ferrari teammate. Quite a while back, and I know he's a quality driver.
Watching this battle for second now. Seems like Max is right up on the gearbox of that Force India. Is it time? gap at the front now, 9 seconds. So
Yeah, it doesn't seem... Okay, they are battling each other, so they're possibly slowing each other up a little bit. And affording Flexi to stretch that lead a little bit.
well, I believe that if you're defending, you're immediately slower.
Yeah, no, definitely. Nismek's having a bit of a run. It's a tough place to pass here, Jonathan. It's not the easiest track to pass as well. Street circuits are...
Yeah, no, definitely. Australia is that. Australia is the sort of track that if you get your line and you're quick, you've got your position covered really.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we keep safety car off here at TnB because of various issues we've had with it in the past, but so we can't have that to mix up the race. Hopefully that's something they sort out in the next
installment
next version.
of this game, yeah.
That's right. That's something I'd like to see.
Let's go a little bit further down the field. Got Steffi in P5 doing good.
Sorry to interrupt. Fastest lap for Gavin there. So setting the pace down in 12th. Also on ultra softs. Timbo just coming out of the pits, also on ultra softs.
Interesting. It's a bit soon. So I wonder if that's not damage related.
Looking at that Seeker down in 16th place in the Mercedes, he's not having a fantastic day. He's lost 6 places since the start. Started in 10th, it seems. But and he's made 2 stops already. So not the ideal day. And he's on ultra soft, so surely he'll have to stop again.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't really make any of the offer tires stretch from lap 10. Going back to Iggy in 4th place. It's made up 14 positions. And trying to get into a fight there for the podium.
We've got the vet. And this makes it looks like they touched, and the vet did break his wing there on the wall, unfortunately.
Definitely damage there to the right hand side, it seems. Will he come into the pits? He does. He comes into the pits immediately, and he's followed by Nismax. Is that right? Yes. Followed by Nismax. 2nd and 3rd collide, and both are into the pits. Exactly the same spot, also right hand side of the wing, damage for both. So Nismax and EW into the pits. That promotes Iggy up into 2nd place. That's 16 places. So he's having a good night.
Hey Jonathan, I've just got the little one that's entered the com box here.
Not a problem. While you were gone, the collision that you noticed with 2DW and Nismax, pickup was that Nismax also had damage. Both of them had damage to the right hand side of their front wings. Both had to come into the pits, and that's promoted Iggy up into 2nd. So
yeah, let's see
how those two come back through the field. Must have been an interesting collision for both of them to lose the same part of the front wing.
Yeah, I just cut the right as it happened, and it looked like an impact, but I couldn't see clearly, unfortunately.
Well, pretty much both had identical damage. It was quite strange. In the aftermath of that as well, we have Staffy promoted up to 3rd place. So the nice, the leading Red Bull driver at the moment. He knew before the race that he felt no pressure. So now I say to you, no pressure. Going down the list, in 5th place we got DW. He's on Nismax in 6th place, but that gap has opened up. They're not as close as they were before the collision. Muno following closely. He's in 7th place in the Toro Rosso. 8th place we've got the only remaining McLaren with RZDV. Not a bad race, but I'm sure you'd wish to be further up the grid, but unfortunately also had a bit of damage earlier on. Had to make a stop. Jack in 9th, running a decent race. Made up 10 places since the start. And overall a good performance. And then making up the top 10 we've got the other Force India of Springbok Gamer. Also making up three spots since the beginning of the race. So I think a lot of happy drivers there in the top 10. Got Nathan going around in 11th, just out of the points for now in the Ferrari. We're hoping to get up into the points before the end of the race. Timbo going around in 12th. Place with a relatively solid performance, I guess. Got Gavin, his teammate in the other Haas, going around in 13th. Not the ideal day for Haas. They would have liked to have been in the points. Fighting at the top, both very quick drivers. In 14th, we've got the other Ferrari of Forsey. So unfortunately for the time being, no Ferraris in the points. Betsika running around in 15th. Probably hasn't had the ideal race, but nice to see that he's still going. A lot can happen in 100%. Judge in the other Toro Rosso, he's running down in 16th place. Solid performance, started in 14th. And just keeping it steady, running around on the hardest compound that's offered on the weekend, the softs. So obviously losing a bit of pace there, and will be interesting later on in the race when he gets onto something faster. Got Jean running around in 17th, and he's actually got the fastest lap time. And that lap time doesn't look right to me, so maybe a glitch, maybe an amazing lap time, I'm not sure, I didn't see it. But that says it's a 1:21.9, and if that's right, his fastest lap was almost as fast as pole. Then unfortunately running through the retirements, we've got 2 retirements. We've got Cameron, who retired. He was in a strong 4th place at the time, but just lost it coming out of the final corner onto the main straight. Bounced off the pit wall onto the outside wall, and that was that. Neon Rapid, unfortunately, he retired early on in the race. Didn't see what happened to him, didn't catch that footage, unfortunately. And Little Piece, he lost connection just before the beginning, so unfortunate. Back to the front, we've got Flexi still leading. That gap is 18.1 seconds now, so pretty comfortable, and getting into the territory of pit stop comfortable, so they'll wanna pinch that gap before it gets any bigger. We've got the gap down to third is even bigger than that. It's 40 seconds, so top three already opened up. "22 seconds, apologies."
Yeah, 22 seconds I can see.
Wazzy, are you back?
Yeah, sorry about that. This is the little one.
I was wondering if you were gone or if you were waiting for me to stop ranting.
No, your ranting's always excellent, Jonathan. No, the viewers are in good hands with you.
Surely Iggy couldn't be more happy with us. Second place. It's still a very long race.
Yeah.
But remember, 100% distance at here in TnB. You're only on lap 16 of 58. Total race distance is just over 300 kilometers.
Yeah, just wondering how the strategy will shake out. Obviously,
I'll actually have a look here at the tires and the stops. Seems like everyone in the top four has not stopped. So still open there in the top four. It's actually obviously in a very strong position.
Yeah, no, him on the softs there. So I'm wondering if he's thinking about the one-stopper from here on out. Taking those softs as far as he can.
I think if he wanted to go the one-stopper, it might be a bit slower, but got a fantastic gap. I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Watching now Captain Ice, he's also had a fantastic race. Bearing in mind, lap 17, he's in fourth. Had a quite a shunt in the beginning of the race. Sent him all the way back to 12th at one stage. So, great recovery. Up to fourth. Followed closely by DW. Also had a collision earlier on in the race. Unfortunate one, was in second place at the time. DW now coming around. No problems there. Max still following DW. They're in 5th and 6th. But this time he's following from a safer recommended distance.
They're both on softs, so I'm also wondering if they can. I don't think they'll make it on the set of tires all the way to the end. They'll have to stop again.
How many laps is that? That would be 30 laps to go.
I think it's a little bit too much of a stretch. Too much of a stretch.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's 40 laps to go. I don't think you could. Well, if anyone can make tires last, I've experienced that man there in 5th.
Captain Ice is lapping somebody, or they lagging, I don't know.
Not quite sure what's happening here in 4th place with Captain Ice. He's
okay, I just saw a car jump bunny hop
having
over
a very strange altercation with the Mercedes. So
did you see
it
the
seems to be
same thing?
over now. Yeah, I was looking at that. They went through the corner with interlocking wheels. I don't think that's possible.
No. The Captain Ice definitely closing on Steffi for that podium spot.
Ooh, I'm not quite sure what's happening with that nerve.
I'm also not sure. It looks like that should be Death Seeker.
That's a Merc. That's number 4.
No, he's knocked the wing now and he's backed off. So.
No, that's Death Seeker in 15th place. This car reacting very strangely. With the connection issue of some sort, and not aiding a race that already hasn't gone his way.
I see a position
Gap
change.
at the front continues to grow. 20 seconds now. Getting awfully close to that where it becomes safe to get a free pit stop.
Yeah, Captain
Awfully
Ice
close.
must have made a mistake because DW, Nismex and Muna came through on him now. So DW back in P4.
So making an error there, Captain Ice. I'm just gonna go on board with him, see if I can maybe spot any damage. Everything seems to be intact. So I don't see any damage there on the front wing.
Maybe just a...
There again, just seems like he's running wide off the track. A lot of gravel now on the tyres there on the left-hand side, and just find sometimes that when you just get out of that groove, it can take quite a few corners to get back into it.
Yeah.
Promoted Muna up to 6 in the Toro Rosso. There's an excellent fifth following the vet, about a second adrift.
Oh, the vet with a big oversteer moment there. Well held.
And then the vet also closing in on third. Duffy currently holds the final podium step. And Iggy, what a race. What a result that would be. You've got a fair way to go.
Yep.
Interesting to look down the order and just see who has not made a pit stop as of yet. The top 3 have not made pit stops. So that's interesting. They have not made pit stops yet. That means DW will probably snatch third place. Not enough to get Iggy. It looks like DW could land up on that final podium step after the pit stops. Captain Knight as well, no pit stops as of yet. And Springbok Gamer down in 10, no pit stops as of yet. As well as Jean right at the back in 17th, but he seems to be ghosting around, so I'm not sure of that situation. "24 seconds. Now remember, the whole time Lexi has been on soft.
Yeah. He's showing some serious pace.
The whole time this man has been on soft, and like I said earlier, the top 3 have not made pit stops yet, so surely second and third, their super softs must be getting to a stage where they need to be changed. But Lexi's got those softs and he's probably still got some extra laps in him.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get to around about the 30 lap mark with those sets of softs. Maybe even a bit further, maybe stretching them to 35. It's possible.
And also, while you were away, I noticed that we have a glitch on our timing screen, because the fastest lap, I don't see how that is possible. The fastest lap is set by Jean, who's currently in 17, and it's a 1:21.9, which would have been pole position quick.
Yeah.
So And if you did get that right, my apologies. That is extremely quick, sir. Lap 22. Not even at half distance yet. I think it's when it gets to 50% that this 100% reality sinks in.
Yeah, it normally is. We've got DW, Staffy and Nismax very close to each other. Trying to find a way past, but it's proving to be quite difficult here on this track.
Something else to mention that's great to see is that we started with a full grid. Like I mentioned earlier, we had the unfortunate connection issue with Little Piece. He didn't get on the grid. And we've only had 2 retirements, so as it stands, 17 runners, technically. And it's a good showing for round 1.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I hope to see more full grids going forward.
Going a little bit further down, it seems to be from 4th to 7th, 8th even. They're all within 10 seconds of each other.
And midfield, that could turn into quite a battle. We could soon see a string of cars, and that's what's forming now. I'm riding on board with Nismax, who's driving in 5th. In front of him, DW weaves around as he thinks of passing Sappy, but thinks better of it. But now, 3-way battle for 3rd place. Deja vu. I'm sure I said that earlier.
Just to cut in there, Jonathan, I can see Iggy is ghosting. So that means that he must have had a disconnect, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate. I missed that. I didn't see his name leaving, but he is ghosting as Timber comes around his outside to unlap himself. So obviously the ghosting is pretty slow. He does have a gap to Staffy, 28 seconds, so hopefully he can regain that car before that gap completely disappears.
Yeah.
Going back to that battle for 3rd, getting pretty intense. We've got Staffy 3rd, DW 4th, Muna in 5th, and Nismax in 6th, all in a train. What we didn't notice was actually Muna in the Toro Rosso. He got past Nismax in the Red Bull. That was a position change.
Yeah.
I can tell you that those 4 cars I just mentioned, Robbie's not far behind him. So he'll be there shortly. Especially if these 4 start to battle, he'll be there in no time.
And he's dragging along Jack with him. Jack
Things could get very interesting here for 3rd place. So if I'm not mistaken, let me just have a look over here. Staffy still needs to pit. Staffy still needs to pit. So
Muna makes a mistake that allows Nismax back through. And Robbie
came through there on the outside. Sneaky, saw the opportunity, went for it. Gap couldn't have been big nudges. Oh, I thought he lost it, but that was obviously internet connection. Robbie will be happy for the time being. 6th place. Muna making another mistake, running wide onto the grass. And I got Jack through.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm seeing something else. Now Muna's up into fourth.
Oh dear.
Apologies. I can only commentate on what I see. And I saw something very strange. Muna was dropping down the order constantly for about 6 or 7 corners and then jumped up the order. I have no explanation.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. He's got the fiber line, which never gave problems, but for the past 2 days he's been complaining that his internet is acting up a little bit.
And we're having a few issues obviously with the timing screen there because our fastest lap is not right. So definitely 1 or 2 issues within the game, but good to see that everyone for the most part is still racing. Another thing we haven't noticed that Iggy, who's been ghosting around the circuit, he's still ghosting around the circuit. His ghost car chose to make a pit stop onto Ultra Softs. So I don't know if that would have been his plan, but probably not. But we'll still wait to see if he's going to regain that car. Unfortunately, he's down to 8th place after what would have been quite an amazing drive.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Got Gavin in the pits, sorry about that, we've got Gavin in the points now. He's up to 10th place. Good to see.
Yeah, he's still keeping his foot in there. He'll be disappointed after good qualifying. I was expecting him up there, to be honest.
One of the Forza riders on the TnB list. And on his day, he can win around any track.
Yeah.
Except maybe Japan. Sorry, Gav. I had to throw that in.
Yeah, Japan not one of his favorites.
He says it's his favourite, but he never seems to finish.
We've got Steph in the pits now. That releases TW and Mizmax.
Right. They'll be released now, and now we'll have to monitor that gap to first. But I think Flexi's got it covered, and he hasn't made a stop yet.
He's doing a Sunday cruise, just wondering if there's anybody else on track at the moment.
Keeping you notified on the status of Iggy, our Russian driver. He's still ghosting around the circuit and is currently in 7th. So this is somebody with Steffi's pit stop who's promoted to 7th. Now that gap to the leader, if I'm not mistaken, am I reading that correctly?
1 minute 10 seconds on my screen.
Then I'm reading it correctly. Just wanted to make sure. Well, seems like quite a race between that 2nd and 6th. Not awfully big gaps there. Max just 0.2 of a second away from the DW, just on the gearbox of that car. He opens up DRS, moves to the outside. Will he think about it? No, decides against it. Not right now. It's not the right time. And like we've said, it's such a difficult track to pass on.
We've got Jack hounding Robbie as well.
Really, you can pass on this track as if the car in front of you makes the mistake. Seems like Robbie got past.
No, he was in front the whole time. Jack's just been getting closer and closer and getting to that window where he can challenge for position now. But both of them are catching up to Muna within 2.5 seconds. Jack having a look on the inside. Oof, Robbie late on the brakes. Defends it well.
The reigning TnB champion is up for a fight this season. Riding on board now with Nismac. He follows DW again, just 0.2 of a second right on his gearbox. But look at that, DW just sticks to his line and it's virtually impossible. Now goes for a move around the outside, but he's too far away, and again, you just got to stick to your line and you can't get through. Great driving by DW. Following Muna around, he's in 4th place. 7/10 of a second off that battle between DW and Nismac. So he could come back into this and make that a 3-way battle yet again. And it seems like that's exactly what's happened. He's on the back of Nismac, who's on the back of DW. And we've got a battle for second.
Yep. It will be a 5-car battle soon, by the looks of it.
Robbie says that this race is not over yet. And he needs to get up there. He needs good points. McLaren needs good points. They've lost 1 car already.
We're nearing the pit stop phase.
Lap 31. It'll be interesting to see now what the leader is going to do. He's got this quite crazy gap. He's on the softs. He could pretty much do whatever he wants from this stage. He could go into super softs and finish the race. Or if he wants to do some fast laps, he could go put ultras on fast.
Yeah.
And I think that gap would still not go anywhere.
I'm just trying to follow him to see what his lap times are like. It's only 2/10 off his quickest, so yeah, he's still very much on it.
Consistency, the purple laps might not be there, but the consistency is just where it needs to be.
Yeah, and
W is still going around in second, still doing a fantastic job. He's had Nismac, he's had that red bull in his mirrors for so long. It actually reminds me of the battle in Monaco. Was it DW and on Muna and on that occasion? We were together for so many laps. This match really getting close now, but just can't find a way through. There's just no space. DW takes a big chunk of that inside as much as he can, and nowhere to go really. He gets close and then he's forced to drop back because Must be tough. I don't know. I don't know if Nizmax is faster or if he just can't get past.
Yeah, he seems to have better pace, but he's been stuck behind the Force India for the entirety of the race so far.
And Muna just doing enough to stay in fifth place. He's made a few mistakes. I think he could be in second. Having a great race considering he's in fourth place, but it has been a bit messy. He could be up the road definitely.
Yeah.
Probably another one who's had quite a mixed race. Definitely hasn't stayed in that position the whole time. He's been down, he's been back up, and well, now he's making up ground on Muna. So podium is still in the offering, and who knows what the pit stops could do to these gaps. Things could look very different in a couple of laps on. Jack's still having a strong race, and as I say that, why did I say that?
I think he was...
As I go on board with Jack, he runs wide, puts the front wheel on the gravel, car swoops through on the inside, but luckily doesn't lose the position. It was a car that was unlapping itself.
No, it's Flexi lapping them. Flexi is lapping them.
Pulling into the pit. Well, so that means Flexi has left everybody up to sixth place.
Yes.
Robin, keep your eyes open. You're next.
It seems like Jack has called it a day.
Seems like Jack has called it a day on lap 34. Came in to get a wing change and called it a day in the pits. Well, his ghost is leaving the pits, but he's probably just going to get to the end of the pit lane here and pull to the side. Well, he's parked in the pits, so that's interesting. Do you see that, Wazzy?
Yep. And that promotes Gavin
So
up
that
to
brings
P6.
the referee into the points. Top 10. And Gavin to 6th, yes. Robbie now right on the back of Muna. I think Flexi has left them both. I wonder if that had anything to do with these two cars getting what seems to be much closer together.
Yeah.
Now, Flex heading up the road. So lap is next victim.
Yeah, which is Nizmax. I believe Nizmax will have a little bit of a surprise win.
Nizmax and DW, they're because they're right next to each other. So I wonder how the lead is going to affect that battle.
Yeah, I think
they're riding on board with Flexi. You can see them still down the road in the distance, but you can definitely see them. And that'll be an example of lapping everyone on track.
Indeed.
Impressive. Gap is 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Oh, this gentleman has stopped, albeit for damage, which Flexi has.
Still hasn't made his pit stop.
Yeah.
So that gap maybe will just close to a number that doesn't look quite so ridiculous.
No, it's been an absolute masterclass so far.
definitely just introducing himself to the guys here at TnB. DW still in second, Max still in third. Just 3/10 of a second on his gearbox, as he has been for most of the race. Again, looking around the outside, fast part of the track, not easy to pass there. And nothing for now. 22 laps remaining. And Max has still not found a way past in 36 laps. Frustration must be building.
Definitely.
Not quite sure what happened, if there was an incident here between Robbie and Munna. Munna has just left the session. He's ghosting. Robbie's in 4th place, but he's a lot further away from this match than he was initially. So I wonder if there was some sort of collision there.
Yeah,
If there was, we'll hear about it. Just getting a message here from Jack. He says that he's calling it a night. He's got wing damage twice, and the game decided to give him the default setup for the race. So
no, that doesn't sound great.
And another message popping up, and this time from Munna, and it's simply internet no. He's still coasting around, surprisingly, still in the point. So it shows you what a fantastic race he was having.
Yeah. Well, Flexie's passed. He's lapped everybody so far.
Right, he's lapped everybody, and importantly, seems like this battle for second hasn't really been affected. Still 3/10 of a second in it. The consistency between these two drivers is it's impressive.
Yeah.
This gap has been between 2 and 3/10 of a second, lap after lap. And to hold that sort of concentration when you're so close to somebody makes it even better. Must be quite strange for DW to see the leader in front of him and know that he's a lap ahead.
Yeah. Must be quite
Because you can see him, he's right there, but he's not really, is he?
Max also just making a little bit of a mistake as well. As I went on board with him.
No, definitely something with that onboard camera needs to be looked at. It's a dangerous trigger, that onboard camera. I'm going back to broadcast. Watching Robbie coming out of the pits for his second pit stop. He's going to come out of the pits in 5th place. Captain Nice going to try and get past, but unfortunately Jazz comes out behind Rob. Rob will maintain that 5th place, and he'll have a fresh set of tyres. Okay, now I'm not sure which tyre he's on because I just saw the colour change on screen, literally.
He's on the ultras, according to the graphic.
As Robbie drove past me, his tyres changed from red to purple. On camera.
Oof.
Flexi still has not stopped on lap 39. Lap 40.
That's good on him, man. Showing that he knows how to keep the tires alive as well.
But more importantly, he's keeping the tires alive, but he's not exactly driving. He's not driving within himself, or at least I hope not.
No, he's still doing decent lap times.
That's why I say he's doing great. At times he's a lap ahead of the entire field, and he's on the hardest tire. He's on the slowest tire. Just trying to make out the fastest lap of the race. Mentioned earlier, we've got that glitch with John's time, so just trying to look through the other laps to see 28s, 27s. That seems to be the fastest. No, it was actually Iggy with a 1:27.8. That seems to be the fastest. Flexi with a 1:27.4. So he's still got the fastest lap on those soft tires.
Yeah, but once he stops, which should be imminent, puts on either the supers or the ultras even. I think he's
going to bring down that lap time substantially.
Yeah, he's got a choice because he's entering the ultra sort of territory. If he wants to use that, if he's got a fresh set available, can pop those on.
Maybe another 5 laps, maybe.
Yeah, more or less.
So another 5 laps and then finish with about 12 or 13 laps in the ultras. What did you say is the life of an ultra around here?
Yeah, I would say around about 15, 20 laps if you're really good on them.
So maybe another 2 or 3 laps here by the leader, and then maybe he'll come in and put on the purple tyre. It'll be interesting to see. Or you could just go the safe route, put on the super soft. That'll definitely get him to the end.
Yeah.
And it's not like he needs the extra speed unless he wants the fastest lap. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get it. Not a 1:21.9. DW and Nismax at it again.
Yeah, they're still having a look at this battle.
As you mentioned, he made a mistake earlier on, and we saw that gap open up briefly, but he's right back there. Which gives me the impression that Nismax is the faster car on track, because every time he loses a bit of time, he recovers it, but he just cannot find any space. Actually watching an awesome helicopter view of those two, and it was a great angle to see that he just literally can't find space. He's putting the nose everywhere he's looking, but no mistake from DW. Now on lap 42. top three have remained the same for the majority of the race. We've got Flexi, we've got the leader coming into the, well, leaving the pits.
Yeah, he's on the
He's
ultra
finally
soft.
made his pit stop, and he's gone onto the ultras. So now we'll keep an eye on his lap times. Want to see what he can do on the ultra soft. We have a retirement. Horsey has retired.
He's in the wall there.
I see him alongside the track next to the wall, and I see some Ferrari debris in the middle of the track. So seems like that's that for Horsey. The judge still having a rough day in 15th place, fighting that Toro Rosso around the Albert Park circuit. Just watching him now, doesn't seem too comfortable in the car. I see a lot of oversteer. I see just obviously not reacting the way he wants, and I wonder if Jack had that problem with the setup. I wonder how many more of these guys on the grid had that same problem.
Yeah, indeed.
Maybe some of them are not even aware of it if they just get to the grid and ready up. Judge getting out of the way there, almost causing a collision. Had to slow down right on the entrance of the corner. This battle for second continues. It's relentless. And this match is relentless. I think I would have just driven off track at this stage because of my stress levels. I would have just driven in the opposite direction and said, take it.
Ooh, he's got a... Ooh.
I can't deal with this.
He had a look on the inside there, but backed out of it. The closer we get to the end...
if you just watch that front end, it's constantly left and right and looking for a gap, and there's nothing. But he is trying. After every corner, you see him dipping out of the slipstream and thinking about it, and the opportunity just hasn't been there. Going outside of this battle for second. See what's happening on the rest of the circuit. In fourth place, we've got Robbie. He's had an interesting race. He's had a collision. He's been to the back. He's had a great fight back to get into fourth place. Really doing a good showing for that McLaren, considering that his teammate's not here. His teammate retired early in the race from this very position, fourth. So could have been a great result for McLaren. We'll want to get that sorted out before the next race.
Staffy doing a good job in P5. Qualified strong, finishing the race strong. Deserves that P5. Flexi coming up to Nizmex and DW to lap them. Is he pitted?
Means he's made his pit stop and recovered all of that time.
Yes. He's flying
It's,
on these supers. Flying.
Ultras.
Ultra, sorry, yeah, you're right.
Oh, look at that, a 124.7.
Yeah.
If you ignore that glitch of a time, there's nothing else close to a 124.7. The closest anybody got to that is a 127.8. So, 3 seconds faster than anyone on track.
Yeah, he's right behind this Max that lets him through. Getting DRS off DW. Hopefully DW looks in the mirrors and see it's Flexi and not Nizmax. Yeah, and lets him through.
Maybe just realizing there at the last moment, not sure what happened there, but sort of slowed down and Flexi was right behind him when he did. But luckily no issues there.
No, it was well done.
Flexi is through cleanly. And going back to that battle, I wanted to see if maybe that mess of things opened up the gap, but looking at it, and nope, right on the gearbox of DW. Like there's a magnet attracting that Red Bull. Unfortunately, what happens when the leader laps everybody is we lose our timing screen.
Ooh. Got Nizmax on the inside, having a look.
Very nicely done. He went around the outside and got it back.
And the vet super light on the brakes.
Fantastically done.
Oof, he's a
Very brave on the brakes.
oversteer.
Now who's going to get the better run? Nizmax's going to have DRS, but I think he's too far back. Surely he's too far back. That's Nizmax 7, not Daniel Ricciardo. We got 10 laps remaining in this race. What driver of the day? What do you think?
Well, if
Still
Iggy's...
got call it Sean is ghosting around, so call it 14 runners. We've still got 14 runners, and you can say he's driver of the day.
Well, Flexi is having an absolute masterclass. So it's kind of hard to ignore that. DW and Nizmax going at it the whole race. You have to applaud
That
them.
would be battle of the day.
Yeah, definitely. Iggy had a stormer of a race, but unfortunately
award.
his internet gave up the ghost. So yeah, for me it has to be Sam, it has to be Flexi.
I think if Iggy had finished in second, I would have given him driver of the day.
Yeah,
But,
coming from the back, yeah.
Looking at the remaining runners, I think you have to give it to him. With a performance like this, lapping everybody on track, it's pure dominance.
Yeah, it is. Oof. I think Nizmax just touched the vet there. I wonder if he's got a bit of damage. It doesn't seem like it. But it was a definite touch. And it
The
looks
touch
like...
between Nizmax and DW.
Yeah.
You see that gap has just opened up a little bit.
Yeah, he outbraked himself and he touched him. And you can visibly see now he doesn't have the same downforce. If you look at the wing, you can't see anything missing, but there's definitely a little bit of damage.
Go on board, see if I can-
running wide there. Yeah, definitely battling now.
I don't know if he's got debris on that left front tyre, a line of something on there, and that might be the reason why he's running wide and backing a little bit. We'll have to just watch this time. But at the moment, it's pretty much as big as I've seen it, 1.4 seconds. So maybe a crucial part of that Red Bull just breaking off. Don't really know what's happening inside that car. Nismax won't want to make a pit stop though. If there is something wrong with that wing, he won't want to make a pit stop because Robbie's just 3 seconds down the road.
Yeah, Robbie's not far away.
I think he can get out in front of Gavin, but definitely not Robbie. He'll be giving that podium position away. So he's just got to maintain that gap to Rob. It's a gap of 3.2 seconds with 8 laps remaining. And I can tell you it is coming down, currently 2.8 seconds. So Robbie can smell the champagne.
Yeah.
He's just looking for that something extra out of that Honda motor. The gap now down to 1.7 seconds.
No, he's definitely catching. Oh, I was thinking, oh,
Nismax dives into the pit. It's obviously losing way too much time. Robbie claims third.
Well, let's see if he's changing his wing. Yeah, he is. So definitely wing damage.
Must have been a strange damage. I don't know if it was maybe a glitch on our screens, but I did ride on board with him and I wasn't able to see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I just saw him when they touched. There was definite carbon fiber detaching from his wing, but yeah.
Definitely a difference there in the lap times, no question.
So DW also can't relax because we've got Robbie on the faster tyre and he's catching up quite quickly as well.
The gap there just 1.4 seconds now. It just came down while I was talking from 1.6 to 1.4 seconds. So he might still see a second place here. And that in the beginning of the race didn't look too happy.
It didn't look possible, but it looks like
he's kept his head down and he's put the lap times in and he's kept it clean, and look at the result. He's in third place with a very possible second.
Starting to become
within a second.
A Robbie hallmark is qualifying well, dropping to the back, and then just passing everybody.
Seems like a Rossi thing to do.
Yeah.
Qualifying well, having a terrible start, making your way through the field.
Yeah.
I've seen Rossi do that throughout his career.
Well, we've seen the vet and his defending skills. It's catching him is one thing, getting past him is quite another, so...
I believe those were the famous words of Murray Walker.
Yeah.
It's one thing to catch, it's quite another to pass.
I'm just wondering
you know that's the case when it comes to this driver.
It's just Robbie's tyres are much younger. That's the other thing that's in his favour.
Obviously now that gap to Nismax 27 seconds, so I don't think Nismax has much of an opportunity at the podium unless one of these two do something they're not supposed to. But yeah, he does look quick on those ultra softs. Now he opens up the RS on the main straight. Doesn't seem to be gaining that much.
No.
Maybe the slipstream glitch coming into play there. Obviously people have left the lobby.
Yeah, It's very true as well, yeah.
Because he got a great exit, but didn't seem to make up a lot of ground there.
They're also coming up to lap a couple of cars, which can complicate things a little bit as well.
Definitely another thing I was going to mention, if PW has a problem lapping one of these cars, then Robbie sees the opportunity of getting out of the way there clearly.
Yeah, that's well
One
done.
more to go. Just tap off around that corner. And they're both around unscathed, I guess. But it looked a bit messy. I think BW has had a car in those mirrors for most of the race. I think that's his motivation. I think he needs someone in the mirrors.
He seems to like it. He's quite a cool customer under pressure.
Is he enjoying his new seat, his new rig?
Oh yes, yeah, from our sponsors no less. GeForce Sim got it today, I believe.
Having his first run with it,
Yeah.
and it seems to be doing a good job. Second place on debut, good debut for that seat.
Yeah. He did put in a quick comment before the race that he is sitting comfortably, and I believe him. To be under pressure for so many laps and still defend hard. Must be a good rig.
I've been told that seat is extremely comfortable. So my worry would be falling asleep in a race of this distance. Considering I usually spend most of my time at the back.
Yeah, well, with all the bells and whistles.
And this is a race I don't mind sitting in the commentary box for.
Yeah, I'll get a rig
Such
just
as a wet
to
Monaco.
commentate in.
And was it in the commentary box to grow the anticipation of his return?
Yeah, I'll have a
You'll have
run on
a
track
guest
sometime.
appearance. I'm sure you'll have a guest appearance in season 4 at some stage.
Yeah, definitely. Just watching the guys having fun. Makes it hard to sit in the commentary box sometimes, but
Especially when it's a track you enjoy. When it's a track you enjoy, like I say about this track, I've got my history with this track, so I don't really mind the commentary, but when these guys go around Austria, it does hurt a little bit. Or Hungary.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone has their favorites. Brazil.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to do Spa on Thursday, which is my favorite track. Not the best result, but yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I also had a run at Spa this week on Monday. It was quite an eventful race, but I finished in the points.
Yeah,
so
good. I watched it.
Not bad, considering I started at the back. Not the best qualifying.
Well, it was a good drive. I watched it. It was good.
BW got DRS, but I think he didn't notice because he chooses not to activate it. He got DRS there.
Yeah, he's got a second bite at the cherry as well.
Gets it again. There we go.
And maybe he's listening in, helping him.
Well, we're not supposed to be doing that. We know what he's got relations with this pink car.
Yes, Jonathan.
And it's not a conspiracy theory.
I may or may not have some lick marks on my television screen, yeah? But I refuse to comment any further.
Well, I hope you clean that up straight after the race.
Well,
That's going to take some explaining.
that is my cleaning process.
And you're just going to blame Heath
Yeah, well.
for the lick marks on the screen. Watching Robbie now, he goes into the back of the vet.
Oh dear, did they touch? I missed the
He goes into the back of the vet. I was riding on board. I saw it happen. At first, I thought it was a internet connection issue because Robbie bolted forward. Then he bolted forward into the back of the vet. The vet ran wide into the corner, over the gravel. And as you can see, 6 seconds the gap. So,
oh dear.
No, definitely a collision there.
Maybe.
I don't know what it looked like on Robbie's screen, but from my side there was definitely
maybe something for Charlie to
some
have a
sort
look
of
at.
contact.
Charlie thinking he's...
I don't see damage on Robbie's car, so maybe it was a connection anomaly, but hopefully he's recorded that if there's any
I'm sure
issues.
I'm sure they have. Yeah, Charlie sitting back thinking that he's incident free in this race, and no, 58 or 58, something happens.
Yeah, I think he's avoiding that inbox at all costs.
Well, now that Flex is on the last
hoping for a
lap,
quiet Saturday morning
and,
on his yacht. It's not going to happen.
Robbie being lapped, I believe this should be his last corner, in fact.
That gap now between second and third, going up to 7 seconds. The DW not making an impression on second, maybe settling for third on the final lap. Follow Flexi now on board, following for the end of the final lap as he approaches sector 3.
Yeah, what a masterclass from the man. Lights to flag.
Fastest man on track, started from the front, led the way, looked after his tyres. He's going to go over the line, he's going to win round 1, TnB season 4, nicely done.
Well done.
Celebrate, that was a drive and a half.
Definitely. Well, that was...
Go back to Robbie, following him on board.
He's slowing down, Jonathan.
Not quite sure what's going on there.
He's letting DW back through.
Let DW through. There's obviously a collision that he felt at fault for.
Yeah,
and
fair game to him.
Just fairly getting out of the way, giving DW the second that he deserves. He's been there most of the race.
Yeah.
DW goes over the line in second. I think he'll be happy with that. Robbie goes over the line in third. Considering the start he had, I think nothing wrong with that result at all.
Definitely. Staffy coming home in P4.
Going around the final bend now.
Well done, sir.
Doing a fantastic job in the Williams. And the Williams would love to see some of that.
Yeah. Ahead of Gavin. I'm pretty sure you'll let Gavin know about that the whole week, or the whole of next week.
Very nicely done.
Well then. Let's join them.
Waiting for our podium celebrations to start, and there they are.
Well done.
Oh.
Toto Wolf will be happy with that one.
Different flag there in the middle there of TnB League.
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic to see.
Union Jack flying high there.
And, Total Wolf has found a new special driver. You'll be happy with that.
Definitely. Oh wow, you ran through the grid. I
We
think
got the.
we must invite the drivers up for interview.
Okay, let me do that. Who would that be? Flexi DW and Rob.
Yeah.
Invite them to the party.
Yes. We can have a quick chat to them.
Let's see. Hopefully, I've got everybody here. Rob. I don't think I have Flexi.
Okay, now I'll pop him an invite quickly. So, guys must just bear with me with the screen there. Ooh. Yeah, it's obviously your chat, so I can't invite, unfortunately. So I don't know if the vet, can you invite possibly from this party? Possible? Yeah.
Can you suggest invite?
I'll get to you in a second.
Jeez. Check your broadcast settings and that your voice, everything must be on always allow.
I've got him on. How do I suggest? Potty chat suggest. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I just suggested him there, Jonathan. You should be able to see. Yeah, it's fine.
I have invited him.
I'll give him a couple of moments to see if he'll
Should we
join.
start with third place?
Yeah, let's start with third. So,
And have the honors?
yeah, go for it.
I said you want to have the honors.
Yeah,
Let's start with third place. Third place today. We've got Robbie on the podium. First race of the season. Are you happy with that, considering your start?
Yes, I'm very happy with that.
Had your teammate in front of you at the beginning of the race. Was there any? Did you see what happened to your teammate? What happened there?
I didn't really see what happened. All I know is he went off the grass, off onto the grass. When he came back, we bumped, so I lost part of my wing. So then I lost a lot of time. Then I had to pit. So
yeah, it's becoming quite like
incident.
a Robbie trademark, having a little bit of an incident, pitting early and fighting your way back through the field. Good drive, first of all. Second of all, how was it? Difficult race?
Yeah.
It
No, it
seemed
was
to
very
be
difficult.
quite hard to pass.
No, it was very hard.
And the last incident with in the dying laps there with DW, I slightly missed that on stream, but Jonathan said there was a bit of contact.
What I saw, I didn't touch him, but I don't know what happened. It could have been lag, so that's why I actually gave the position back on the last lap.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we thought.
From what I saw, you were behind De Vet, and then suddenly your car jolted forward, and when it did, De Vet left the circuit because there was contact. But like I said, I wasn't sure what you may have seen on your screen. You might have seen something different.
Yeah, it must be lag.
So going on to our second place driver. We've got DW. Quite an interesting race. Mirrors were full throughout. What did you make of it? Not leaving any space there.
Yeah.
And you guys basically made up those positions again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And definitely I saw that. I went on board with him, and you know, when you see one of those orange cars slow down abruptly, get a bit nervous. And definitely, I was actually going to comment there that he was giving Wazzy a bit of a Raikkonen interview.
Well, yeah, he bolted. He bolted seriously.
Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to get our leader in. Hasn't come through.
Anyway, a quick question for DW.
But
How's the rig? How's the rig boot? Lekker? Fan.
yeah.
Yeah, that's never nice. Yeah,
No, I
Jack.
also had that problem. My setup going to default after the first stop. So
Jack made the same comment on Twitter after he retired.
Yeah.
Said he had lost 2 wings and his setup was on default. So unfortunately, that must have been something that just went wrong with the game. We did have issues with the previous lobby, so. But yeah, looks like we're not going to get our leader, unfortunately. Maybe we'll get to speak to him later on in the season. But for tonight, that's it. Australian Grand Prix round 1 done and dusted. It was a great performance.
Yeah, congratulations to everybody. And the podium sitters to all the drivers really, and it's a bit of a tough race with the lobby not working and then creating a new one. Difficult circumstances, but yeah, well done, gents.
Well,
Okay.
we'll be back next week.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers. Cheers, cheers.